Welcome to DataViz Daily. I'm Kevin McGinley, and we're still working with our 2016 election debate data. And what I wanted to try to do in this episode is create a tag cloud, because that's one of the visualizations that you can do. And you'll notice that I've got problems here with my tag cloud. It's not very pretty looking. And part of the reason is because the way this tag cloud works in this tool is that it really wants all of the text to be in rows rather than in a sort of a paragraph form like this. So in my data, I've got basically one line, one cell per what they say for each line, and that's problematic. I can't get a sense of what words candidates are saying more often than not. So to do that, I've got to actually kind of take my data set and transform it a bit. And since we're not using any kind of data warehousing or ETL or anything like that, I as the user have to do that myself. So what can I do? Well, there are a number of tools that I could turn to in this instance, but I'm going to actually show you a tool called OpenRefine. This is a free open source tool. I'm running it locally here on my Mac. It can run on Windows as well. And I'm going to go ahead and choose my CSV file, which was the original data source for this particular data set. This is the one that I used for the refresh yesterday. And if I hit next here, I can start a project, and let's just call this debates words CSV. And you can see here for the CSV, there's ways that I can control how it's parsed and all that stuff, but this looks all really good. So I'm just going to go ahead and create my project. And now I have the ability to apply some transformations to this. So the first transformation that I'm going to do is, and this is something that I could have probably done within DataViz itself, but I'm going to actually set everything to lowercase, and that way I can take any instance of a word, whether it's at the beginning of a sentence or not, whether it's uppercase or not, and sort of normalize it so I can count it the same number of times and not sort of distinctly. The next thing that I want to do is I want to come in here and apply a transform. And I'm just going to show you an example here of the general refine expression language. I'm going to apply a transform that replaces all punctuation with nothing in this case. I could have replaced it with a space or whatnot. And that's because I want to get punctuation out of this mix. I don't want it to be counted as I'm trying to produce my my tag cloud. It does introduce occasional glitches here, in that if I'm getting rid of a dash between 90 dash minute, for example, that you see right here, oops, that's problematic, but it's better than nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that. So now I've got all lowercase, no punctuation, and I've got to take this text though, and I've got to split it out. And what I really need is all this text to be in rows instead of in one single cell. I don't even want them to be in columns, which I could probably do in Excel using the text to columns feature, but I want it to really be in rows. So I can come in here and do this thing called split multivalued cells. And I basically have to tell it, well, what is your separator? Well, since I stripped out all the punctuation, my separator is a space. So I'm going to go ahead and put a space in there. And what you see happen in the file is that I've moved from 1,025 rows to 45,000 rows. And you can see now that every single word where a space is separated in between them gets a particular cell, or a row in this case. Then I can come here to each of these, and I can use this fill down feature, which will actually repeat the values as it goes down the data file, changing the values as like the speaker changes from Holt to Clinton or Trump. It'll change that particular value as well. So I can just come in here, do a fill down, and now I'm at a point where I got my data set the way I want it. I can use this export feature to bring it back out to Excel. And I've already done that. I've already gone ahead and imported it into DataViz. So let's look at what that looks like with our different tag cloud. So now I've got my data set changed such that I've got a new data set called words. I've got the line, the speaker. In this case, text is a single word. We've got a word per row. And now you can see much better that our tag cloud comes back and gives us a sense. If I use a word count as size, and is the word that's used, and the, you, etc. are words that I can use, or that are used the most by the speakers. So that's a start with tag clouds. I'll probably do more around this in future episodes. But for now, thanks for watching.